A very warm welcome to all of you, particularly those who have come here the first time. The new guest to this आर्य समाज जो यहाँ पहली बार आए हैं, आप सबका स्वागत है। मेरा नाम पीयूष आर्य है और मैं समाज का मंत्री हूँ। और आज टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू हैव अ स्पेशल गेस्ट लेक्चर by a guest who has come from Delhi. His name is Vivek Arya ji. And while he will be speaking, just before he speaks to us, I would like to introduce him. Vivek ji, so the influence of Arya Samaj in our lives comes at different stages. We call it generation. So those who have got touched by Arya Samaj now in your generation, or you have been inspired by your fathers or parents, or so second, third. So Vivek Arya ji goes back to 6 generations. And his great-great-grandfather was influenced by Swami Dayanand directly. So he was one of those who had worked with Swami Dayanand Saraswati in the 19th century. And thereafter, the lineage of influence continued through the family, one generation after the other, and they worked with all the great leaders of the Samaj. For instance, Lala Lajpat Rai and others after Swami Dayanand. So one generation shifted to the next, and the baton was carried by the family. Now fast forward, coming to Vivek ji, a pediatrician by profession, but he has devoted a large part of his life to the prachar of the Vedic Dharma. And in doing so, he has adopted the novel means, he has adopted the novel means of actually using multimedia or using the internet to put forth his point of view. So first, his introduction is he is a scholar, having studied a lot of the work of the Vidwan of Arya Samaj over the last 150 years. And that knowledge he has put to application by his own writings, both on the net as well as through his own books. Besides, a whole lineage of books that had been written in the last 150 years. And if you were to reflect back the number of books on Indian scriptures that have been written, or Indian philosophy that have been written by the scholars of Arya Samaj in the last 150 years, you will find no parallel to that. But many of those had got published 50 years, 70 years, 100 years back and had not got republished. So all those books, rare manuscripts, rare books he has pulled out, and he is actually bringing them back to life by either republishing them or putting them on the net, or taking the extracts and putting them on the net. Now that's a huge work, because if not for people like him who were doing this, that knowledge, that book would have gone to extinction. So that's the work he is doing, and he is extremely active on social media through various means. All of us, or many of us, may already be on the WhatsApp groups that he actively manages every day. He will send numerous of those extracts of knowledge, which I read, many of us in this room read, but for those who don't read, or don't get it, or not yet members, I would invite you to become members of those WhatsApp group. But now, before I speak any further, I would invite Vivek ji, Dr. Vivek Arya, to come over here and share for the next 40 minutes the special guest lecture, or deliver the special guest lecture that he would be doing on a topic which most of us know very, very little about. So now, Vivek Arya ji.
आदरणीय प्रधान जी, पीयूष जी, विकास जी, आर्य जी, and other members of Tamil. No. Okay. I'm comfortable. Other member of Chennai Arya Samaj. It's first time I'm coming to Chennai Arya Samaj. That's okay. Okay. It is first time I am coming to Chennai Arya Samaj, and I was in Coimbatore from 1998 to 2004 in my MBBS. At that time, we have to come to Dr. MGR University, Gindi, for our documents. And at that time, I was not so active, so I missed that part that I should have come. Jaidev Areji was here at that time. And we used to meet few Arya Samajis in train also, who were coming to Chennai. They were coming to DAV to meet him at that time. So, why I have taken this topic, Manu Smriti? Anyone is having Manu Smriti in his home? Padikriya? You have read it? 3 अध्याय. और किसी के पास है? Anyone is having this book? No. But we see a lot of newspaper headlines on Manu Smriti. Like one I will show you. This was some Tamil Nadu MP. He has given a statement against Manu Smriti. He is VCK chief. That woman is written in a bad manner in Manu Smriti. This is a political statement. Next slide. This was one old picture I have taken from social media. A hate campaign against Janeu by a group of people in Tamil Nadu. So, next. First of all, we should know who was Manu. Manu was the first king of this Srishti. When humanity came, due to a lot of people was there. It was totally peace. Everyone was living like an eternal heaven. स्वर्ग जैसा था सब कुछ. एक समय में उनकी पॉपुलेशन बढ़ी. तो then people gathered and they came to the most knowledgeable, most fit and most learned person at that time. His name was Manu. He was a rishi. So the common people gathered and they went to him and said, the population is increasing. Our resources are well distributed now. But in future, we need a law for the society. Like our country got independence in 1947. And then what we have? We had a law. How to run a country. How to do day-to-day activities. What to do in life. This is constitution. This is law. हिंदी में इसे संविधान कहते हैं. तो at that time Manu accepted their request and he became the first ruler of this whole Srishti. And then he advised a constitution. This constitution is known as Manu Smriti. So this is our first code of conduct. Next slide. But this is the only book which is a victim of political propaganda, anti-hate campaign, where misconceptions are more than conceptions. The myth is being more planted in the mind of youth, more than the facts. This is the best agony of this book, I will say. So what is the... Okay, right. What is the first misconception? Most common misconception is that, does Manu supports birth-based caste system? This is the biggest misconception. Next slide. Second, does Manu advise hard or harsh punishment for the Shudras and give a special relaxation for the Brahmins? This is the second misconception. So, we should go in detail. What is the difference between caste system and Varna Vyavastha? Can anyone say? Any comment? What is the difference between Jativad and Varna Vyavastha? This difference is the solution to this problem. So, what is Varna? Varna means chain karna, to select. What to select? Your profession. When to select? When do we select our profession? After completing our studies. We do not select when the child is born. Have you seen any child born that you are a doctor, you are an engineer, you are an advocate, you are a CA? No. That is decided only after his completion of studies. So, this is selection of profession after due qualification, after completion of studies, by another authority. Who grants us degree? University gives us degree, college gives us degree. Our teachers advise, he is eligible to get a degree, so give him a degree. So that is given by third person after we are eligible. So this is the selection of a profession. In Vedic terms we call as a Varna. In Varna, the selection is based on Gun, Karam and Swabhava. In three qualities. Qualities of a person, work of a person and the nature of a person. Based on these three, our Varna is chosen in Vedic philosophy. Next slide. So there are four Varna. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Next slide. Who is a Brahman? What are the duties of a Brahmin? People will say, I am a Brahmin because my father was a Brahmin, my grandfather was a Brahmin, I am a Iyer, I am a whatever it is. But Manu Smriti says totally different. Manu says, a person who is a learned, who performs a yajna, who gives a donation to the eligible person, what is the duty of a Brahmin? To make the society learn. This is the duty of a Brahmin. To support the society by intellectual way. This is the duty of a Brahman. Next slide. And what are the duties of a Kshatriya? Kshatriya means a leader. Kshatriya means a protector. Our forces, armed forces, they are Kshatriya. Our leader, he is a Kshatriya. So, the work of a Kshatriya is, apart from reading, performing yajna, to support the society in way of protection. This is the work of a Kshatriya, according to Manu. Next, Vaishya. You can call a Vaishya as a businessman. His duty is to support our nation, our society, by bringing prosperity. So that is the point. So he will do all jobs which make our nation prosperous. He will establish industry, he will establish shop, he will go to foreign and bring trade. He will just support our economy. This is the work of a Vaishya. Then comes a Shudra, the most controversial part. Who is a Shudra and what is duty? A Shudra is a person who is not eligible for all three, Brahman, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Varna. So his duty is to support all three. Why he is not eligible? That is the main question. We will understand it later on. So why Manu divided this Varna? Many people will ask, if there is everyone is equal, everyone is human, everyone is having 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth, 1 brain, 4 limbs. Why the Manu divided? The Manu divided this because to give right job to right person. This assignment is very important. See, if you come in morning, I saw a sweeper was cleaning the roads. And yesterday I was in a conference in Ramchandra Medical College. I was getting tutorials from my professors, learned professors. So if you do opposite now, can I get a lecture from a sweeper in a medical college? And is a person who is fit to teach to hundreds of doctors, should he waste his time in sweeping the road? This will make a totally upset. System will go down. So this work of right job, assignment to right person, based on his qualities, eligibility, his qualification. This is the main purpose of Varna Vyavastha. Next one. So it was based on qualities and after Varna was after completion of studies. Next one. The most important is Shudra word is nowhere in Vedas or Manu Smriti is described as inferior. It is just a political gimmick. Nowhere it is mentioned that Shudra is inferior or of a low status. It is only the work he is doing, which is considered as low by us. But if you go outside India, no job is low, no one will say you that you are doing a bad job or a wrong job. Just you are doing a job. Next word. In Vedas, Shudra word is mentioned 20 times. And nowhere it shows discrimination. Everywhere it will say a Shudra is eligible for all rights. Just his profession is different because of his ineligibility to do the better task. That is the only thing. And what the Vedas says about Shudra, this is a mantra from Yajurveda 26/2. It says that जैसे मैं परमात्मा सबका कल्याण करने वाली ऋग्वेद रूपी वाणी का सब जनों के लिए उपदेश कर रहा हूं, जैसे मैं इस वाणी का ब्राह्मण और क्षत्रियों के लिए उपदेश कर रहा हूं, शूद्र और वैश्यों के लिए वैसे भी मैं उपदेश करता हूं. So this mantra was quoted by Swami Dayanand. He says that all four varna are having full right to learn four Vedas. This is a quotation, praman from Veda itself. So you cannot say a Shudra is denied to listen Vedic mantra or chant Vedic mantra. I know this is the land, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, this is South India. This Shankaracharya philosophy is very famous, and he has written in Brahma Sutra 1/3/38 is the reference if anyone want to see, that says that cut the tongue of a person if he is a woman or a Shudra, or put a molten lead in the ear if they listen a Vedic mantra. That is, it is written there. But that sutra is not in accordance with the Vedas. And Swami Dayananda was the one reformer who gave us the key that Vedas, message of Vedas will be considered as the higher authority, and if the other texts, they are not in accordance with the Vedas, they will be ineligible. This key is given by us, by Swami Dayananda to us. This is a very reformative thought, because in the middle dark ages, when our country was under foreign rule, there was loss of the message of Vedas. Our reformer Swami Dayananda took out this message and he cleared all dirt and say, accept the pure and reject the impure. The Vedas completely says that Shudra is having full rights. I will give you another example. This is the Atharvaveda mantra. It is a prayer to the God that all four varnas should live with the harmony. Excellent mantra. Another, next one. Yajurveda 18/46. हे परमात्मा, आपकी कृपा से हमारा स्वभाव ऐसा हो जाए कि ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय, वैश्य और शूद्र सभी वर्णों के लोगों के प्रति हमारी रुचि हो, सभी वर्णों के लोगों के प्रति हमारा बर्ताव सदा प्रेम और प्रीति का रहे. Veda speaks we should have all good harmony in all four Vedas. There is no way for discrimination in Vedas. Another, what is the criteria that how the varna are changed? This is very important. Manu never supports birth-based caste system. It says that a varna changes, it completely advocates. I will give you the reference. It is 10/64 in Manu. It says a Brahmin can become a Shudra and a Shudra can become a Brahmin. A Kshatriya can or a Vaishya, they can also change the varna. So Manu is not rigid. He is saying that varna changes. Next one, it says how a person become Brahmin. The Manu says very clearly, शरीर और मन से शुद्ध पवित्र रहने वाला, उत्कृष्ट लोगों के सानिध्य में रहने वाला, मधुरभाषी, अहंकार से रहित, अपने से उत्कृष्ट वन वालों की सेवा करने वाला शूद्र भी ब्राह्मण का जन्म और द्विज का जन्म प्राप्त कर सकता है. Any person by attaining the qualities of a Brahmin can become a Brahmin. This is the message. Next one. Any person who is not doing 2 times Sandhya Vandanam, he will, even if he is a Brahmin, he will become a Shudra. This is the message. Clear message. In next time, any person who does not follow the Vedas, even if he has become a Brahman earlier, he will be downgraded to the Shudra level. This is the clear message by Manu. Next slide. Brahman, if he is having a bad company, if he starts sitting with the wrong people, he will gain bad qualities. So he will be downgraded to a Shudra level. This is what he is saying. Next one. If any person, he is not prospering in his own profession, then he will fail. This is the message. Like a Brahman or Kshatriya or a Vaishya, if they will not follow their duties, they will become a Shudra. This is the point. And next, by reading, by following Brahmacharya, by Anushasan, by speaking truth, by following these vratas in life, by doing paropkar, all good deeds we do, follow the message of Vedas, follow our duties, support other. A person who lives such a life, he is a Brahmin. How great message is it? Totally based on qualities and works, not based on birth. Next one. You have seen a hathi, elephant, or a deer in a market. There is, I will come on your doubt. It does not say not to marry. It says when you are in student age, you should follow it. After marriage, you should follow the rules of a married life. Then in again Vranprastha and Sannyasam, again you go in same. It is like that. Duties according to your ashram. When in what ashram you are, you follow that duty. It is the message like that. So you have seen a market, a toy made up of wood or anything, like it is just a toy, it is not real. Similar is a person who does not follow the duties of a Brahmin. If he himself keep a name of a Brahmin, he is not a Brahmin, he is a namesake Brahmin. This is the message by Manu. Next, there are how many births of a children? A soul. Atma के कितने जन्म होते हैं? Taittiriya Upanishad says 3. One is in the father body, another at the time of birth from mother's womb, but the third most important janma is by acharya. When a person get qualification, he become a Dwij. Dwij means twice born, who is born twice. Upanishad says 3, but the one is before our birth in the father's body. So we take, in the present society, we see 2. One at the time of birth from the mother body, and second real birth we say by acharya after completing our education. Then he becomes a Dvija, twice born. And a person who is not able to complete his education, he is not a Dvija, he is having a single birth. This is the difference between a Dvija and a next one. Same thing, a simple birth is from mother and real birth is after completion of education. This is what Manu says. And all 3 Varna, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, they are under twice, they are known as Dvija because they complete their education. Who does not complete their education, that person is known as Ashudra. Who they do not become eligible for their profession. Next slide. Manusmriti nowhere supports caste system. And according to Manu, everyone is Shudra, means everyone is uneducated at the time of birth. After completion of education, he is assigned a different profession. And his Varna is decided after completion of studies. Son of a Brahmin is not a Brahmin by birth. It is very clear. Son of a Shudra is not Shudra by birth. Everyone is Shudra by birth. But as he gains in his life, his Varna will change. This is the message of Manu. Also, I will like to give one more good example. People say that Manu discriminates between a Brahmin and a Shudra. But it is totally opposite. If we see these 2 shlokas from Manu, they say that if a person has done a crime and if he is uneducated and then he has done a crime, then his punishment should be less. And if a person is educated and he is well aware of what he is doing, and he does a crime even after knowing that he is doing wrong, he should be punished many times. How many times? 3 times to 16 times to 128 times. Have you seen this system anywhere in this world? That for same crime, an uneducated person will be given less punishment, while an educated, well-aware person will be given many times punishment. This system is given in Manu. Who said that Manu discriminates between a Brahman and a Shudra? Next slide. So all four Varnas, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra are Arya. This is the message of Manu. How this misconception came? Now the next question comes. This misconception came in the Middle Ages. In those days there was no printing technology. So we were having a written manuscripts. So Manusmriti, number of shlokas were interpolated, mixed in between. These shlokas caused the real confusion. Dr. Surendra Kumar did his thesis on Manusmriti and published a real Vishuddha Manusmriti version. In that version, out of 2,685 shlokas, he considered 1,471 shlokas as ineligible and only 1,214 shlokas as eligible. So this much is the adulteration. So they have given the criteria as how they are wrong and how they are right. Next one. Swamidan was the first authority in the modern India who established this fact of interpolations in the Manusmriti. His idea was also supported by William Jones, Sir Dr. Radhakrishnan, Rabindranath Tagore, Mahatma Gandhi and other persons of interpolations in the Manusmriti. So those people who consider that there is birth-based caste system, they should be taught in a better way and the concept should be very clear. Next slide. So this was the first part. The second part is about Manu's stand on womanhood. Now I will turn towards this side. Because our Matri Shakti is sitting here, this will be a very attractive idea for them. I've shown you a Tamil Nadu politician comment against Manusmriti saying that Manusmriti says wrong about women. No, I will prove how. This is the best shloka among Manusmriti which I love most. It is Manusmriti 3/56. Anyone can remember Manusmriti 3/56. Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devta, yatra naryastu na pujyante sarvasfla akriya. Afala akriya means where the woman is honored, given respect, all the works of that society, that family, that person, they will be successful. And if a woman will never be honored or respected, then all works will be lost. They will be unsuccessful. Such a nice words by Manu. Who says Manu says wrong about women? Next one. Manu says, जिस समाज या परिवार में स्त्रियों का सम्मान होता है वहां देवता अर्थात दिव्य गुण और सुख समृद्धि निवास करते हैं और जहां इनका सम्मान नहीं होता वहां अनादर करने वालों के भी सभी काम निष्फल हो जाते हैं. नाइस वर्ड्स बाय मनु. अगेन मनु सेज, पिता भाई देवर पति या देवर को अपनी कन्या बहन स्त्री या भाभी को हमेशा यथा योग्य मधुर भाषण भोजन वस्त्र आभूषण आदि से प्रसन्न रखना चाहिए. It's duty of all men, household person to keep their mother, wife, sister, daughter, all women relatives in their house happy with their requirements. It is the duty of a earning person. This is the message. Or never hurt them. How clear Manu says. Next one. जिस स्कूल में स्त्रियां अपने पति के गलत आचरण अत्याचार या व्यभिचार आदि दोषों से पीड़ित रहती है वह कुल शीघ्र नाश को प्राप्त हो जाता है. और जिस कुल में स्त्री जन पुरुषों के उत्तम आचरणों से प्रसन्न रहती है वह कुल सर्वदा बढ़ता रहता है. A family will prosper if a woman is not ill treated, she is cared well. This is the message. Next one. जो पुरुष अपनी पत्नी को प्रसन्न नहीं रखता उसका पूरा परिवार ही अप्रसन्न और शोकग्रस्त रहता है और यदि पत्नी प्रसन्न है तो सारा परिवार प्रसन्न है. A whole family will be happy if a woman is happy. See, such a nice message. पुरुष और स्त्री एक दूसरे के बिना अपूर्ण है, अतः साधारण से साधारण धर्म कार्य का अनुष्ठान भी पति पत्नी दोनों को मिलकर करना चाहिए. We all know भोजन मंत्र अन्नपते अन्नस्य नो देहामिवस्य सुष्मिन प्रपदारम तारी शूर्जम नो देहि द्विपदे चतुष्पदे. What is the difference of द्विपदे and चतुष्पदे? Some will interpret it द्विपदे means 2 legs, चतुष्पदे means 4 legs. But what are the 4 legs? These 4 legs are of family. 2 of husband and 2 of wife. After marriage, any person becomes, from 2 legs, he is transferred to 4 legs. So he is having 4 legs. So Dvipade, when I was alone, unmarried and single, 4 legs. After marriage, 2 of my wife also. So this is the rahasya behind that Chatushpade. Some will interpret it as animals also, that we have a cow in the family having 4 legs. But I feel better in that a family person is having 4 legs. So same thing is given, any Anushthanam should be performed with the help of a wife. So interpretation, Manusmriti says it offers very good status to the woman, it never denigrates women. Few shlokas are there in Manusmriti which says wrong about women, they are interpolated, they are not wrong. In a single book, you cannot have 2 types of thought opposing to each other. One is on first page it is saying give respect to women, on second page it is saying do not respect women. How can this happen in a single book? And what are the higher authorities? Vedas. We have to go to Vedas. What they speak about women, they speak very noble and good words about women. So that criteria will apply on Manusmriti and we will say Manusmriti respects women. This is the inference. Next one. Point number 3. Animal rights people, they will continuously say that Manusmriti speaks about animal sacrifice in yajnas. Manusmriti speaks about meat eating, this. They will speak against Manusmriti. But no one has opened the book and see what is given in it. It says, Manusmriti 11 by 95 shlokas, it says, माद्य मांस आदि राक्षस और पिशाचों का भोजन है, देवताओं का हवन करने वाले ब्राह्मणों को इसे कदापि नहीं खाना चाहिए. Never eat meat. Second one, now a question came to me. One of my friend asked me, I am not eating, I am just purchasing and giving to some another cook. He is making, he is also not eating, a guest will come, he will eat. Am I a sinner? What do you say? Yes. What do you say? Not sleeping, na? Okay. No one is sleeping, na? Okay, good. What do you say? If I purchase meat, I am not eating, and I give to some third person, am I a sinner? Yes. Very smart people. See, all are Aryas people, na? They are smart. It says that anyone who gives permission, anyone who says to cut the meat, anyone who kills an animal, anyone who purchases a meat, anyone who sells a meat, anyone who cooks a meat, anyone who serves a meat, anyone who eats a meat, all are sinner. There was a Gujarati family in UK. Acharya Gyaneshwar ji once went there. They were having a superstore. In one corner meat was there. He asked them, do you eat meat? Gujarati family said, no, we are pure vegetarian. We never touch even that corner. The person who supplies the meat, he only comes and put that meat in the frozen shelf and the people will purchase it from there. We never touch it. We are pure vegetarian. So will you call them as a sinner? Manu says, yes, they are sinner. So this is a very important shloka from Manu. Next one. जो मनुष्य अपने सुख की इच्छा से अहिंसक प्राणियों को मारता है, वह जीता हुआ भी मरकर कभी सुखी नहीं होता. क्लियर मैसेज. नेक्स्ट वन. जो प्राणियों का बंधन और हत्या का क्लेशों को नहीं करना चाहता, वह सर्वहितकारी अत्यंत सुख को प्राप्त करता है. क्लियर मैसेज. निष्कर्ष. इन्फ्रेंस. मनु नेवर supports meat eating, it condemns meat eating. What are the real cause of confusion is again interpolation. Reject the interpolation and accept the right shlokas. This is a very good criteria. So I have done 3 topics today. One on caste system, one on women status in the Manusmriti, and third one on meat eating. Now I will come to second part of my discussion. These were misconception. Now what are the points in favor? Why Manusmriti is important in today's scenario? Why are wasting our time on Manusmriti? Many people will come, old is gone, now be a modern person, accept the new things, new ideas. Why are you youth? Why you're making youth in old days? Why are you bringing them to the old days? This should be known. Listen, what Manu says, what Manu teaches us is the best part of life, how to live in life. How should be our daily conduct? What is morality? What is dharma? How should we have a progress for our soul. What should we do in our life? This source of information comes from the Manusmriti. What is the difference between animals and humans? They also eat food, they also give birth to kids, they also dies. They do all daily activity. We also do, but what is the difference? Difference is that humans or Manushya are the only persons, only yoni, who are having a blessing to progress in their life, to do Atmik Unnati. A soul in a bounded animal form cannot progress in their life. They can only do time pass. That is a big difference. But how to progress this life? That message is given by Manu. Next one. Manu tells us what is dharma. This is a very famous shloka from Manusmriti. Dhriti shama dam asteyam shocham indriyam nigrah dhi vidya satya kamo akrodo satya akrodo satyam akrodo dashka dharam lakshana. These 10 lakshans are of Manu. Swami Dayanand in the Kashi Shastrat asked, what are the lakshana of dharma? Manusmriti says, these are the lakshana of dharma. Meaning, next slide. धैर्य, क्षमा, मन को प्राकृतिक प्रलोभों में फंसने से रोकना, चोरी का त्याग करना, शौच करना, इंद्रिय का निग्रह करना, ज्ञान या बुद्धि, विद्या, सत्य, अक्रोध. These 10 lakshans are of dharma. These are taught by Manu. Then, what is adharma? Manu does not tell only what to do, what not to do also. Adharma is given in shloka of Manusmriti in 12th chapter. Do not steal from other, do not think wrong about another, do not invest your time in wrong things. This is mental adharma. Then it says, vocal adharma. Do not speak hard or harsh, do not speak wrong about others, do not write even wrong about others, do not think even wrong about others. Mansik karma is also there. Then, next one, झूठ बोलना, चुगली करना, चापलूसी करना. These all are 4 verbal adharmas. Next one, चोरी, छीना झपटी, अपहरण, डाका, to steal others' property, and 2, don't follow law and kill another one. These are a general conduct adharma. So Manusmriti tells, and last one, पराई स्त्री का सेवन, character, loss of character. These all are the 10 adharmas which Manusmriti tells us. So dharma and adharma, what to do, what not to do, are taught by Manusmriti. So it is relevant and important in the modern age. Next one. Manu gives us this. When Manu came, the people, he was the person to decide how to marry. The eligibility of marriage, whom to marry, this criteria was first established in the society by Manu. Today, whenever any person you want to marry a boy or girl, what do you see? What is the qualification of other person? What is his family background? What is the general conduct of him? This is the thing that we compare when we marry. So same concept was advised by Manu first. We follow Manu even today without name of Manu. Next one, Panch Mahayajam. We have done Brahmyajya and Devyajya today. Meditation and all. So this Panch Mahayajya was first advised by Manu. Brahmyajya, Devyajya, Pitriyajya. Next slide. Baliveshwajya and Atithi Yajya. All 5 were advised by Manu. Next slide. All 4 ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanprastha, Sannyas, they were given by Manu. Next slide. Message of morality is very much given in a very fantastic way in Manusmriti. A person should not do wrong. This is what Manu tells us. Next slide. General behavior. This is a very much required part. We, as the time is progressing, our society is degrading. We do not have good relations now, especially social media, mobile phone. We are talking with the whole world, but not in our family. We are talking with the whole USA people and UK and Australia, everywhere we are talking, not talking with our own neighbors. This is the time. But Manu clearly says, speak truth, speak positive truth. Even if a person is handicapped, you will not go and say you are a langda. That is a apriya truth. Means, although a person is handicapped, we know that, but we will not say in his face. This advice is given by Manu. So, general conduct and morality, these are taught by Manu. Next slide. सत्य बोले, प्रिय बोले, हितकारक सत्य बोले, अप्रिय सत्य कभी ना बोले, दूसरों के प्रसन्न करने के लिए असत्य कभी ना बोले. This is what Manu tells us. And these are the different subjects which are subject matter given in the Manu. Dharma Shastra, Samaj Shastra, Nyaya, law, darshan, philosophy, adhyatam, spirituality, moksha, rajniti, all these are given in Manu Smriti, if we read in detail. Okay. So, Ram Rajya, we have learned a lot of this word. Mahatma Gandhi even used to say, what is Ram Rajya? So, if a society follows the rule and law as advised by Manu Smriti, this society will become Ram Rajya. This is the take home message. Next one. All of us should, विद्वानों को चाहिए कि सब धर्मशास्त्र को ज्ञान की आंख से देखकर, वेद के प्रमाण से जांचकर अपने धर्म में श्रद्धा करनी चाहिए. Do not go behind the gossips. We should analyze what is truth and what is untruth with the help of Vedas. Keep full faith in our Vedic philosophy. Then we will be able to reach our conclusion. Last two, three questions left. So now in this full presentation, are you able to analyze that our word Shudra and Dalit the same? No. But these politicians, these anti-national forces, these anti-dharma forces, they are putting the poison, mental, intellectual poison. It is a terrorism actually in the mind of youth against Manu Smriti to defame Vedic philosophy, to make them atheist or anti-national by putting Shudra versus Dalit. And whenever they will quote a mantra that Veda says that a Brahman is a forehead, head, a Kshatriya is a limbs, my upper limbs, Vaishya is my this joint, and Shudra is considered as foot. They will quote one mantra. This mantra does not say our foot is inferior. Even we stand on our foot. So they are not inferior. And if some elder person is coming, what I will touch? I will touch his foot. So if foot is an inferior part of my body, then why to give respect we touch our foot? This is one doubt. And we stand, this is our basement. I am standing on my foot, this is my base. How can it be inferior? This is one question. The next one. Everyone, where in household, the work is done by Shudra. A person who is going to a barber and then saying, a barber is not eligible to come in temple. And his barber is cutting his hairs. There he can touch, but he cannot come in the temple. So this is a wrong practice only. How the discrimination came in the society. This is my point. And next one. Ishwar has created us all of us with all 5 elements, with the same body. Our body is all same. There is no difference that Shudra is having a different body or a Brahmin is having some different body. That is, if God has not discriminated us, then who are we to discriminate on basis of a profession? Last, Dr. Ambedkar has quoted Shudras as Aryas, and he has given that Arya did not came from outside. Aryan immigration theory is a fraud, and it is being used by South Indian politicians to divide the society, to make our unity less, so that they can divide and rule. This is Aryan immigration theory was planted by Britishers to make Arya Dravid. There is no evidence in any history text that there was a war between Arya and Dravid. This is all political gimmick. Never get confused. And Manu On name of Manu, two new terms have come, Manuvad, Brahmanvad. You will speak, you go in JNU, Delhi, they will see that we are against Manuvad and Brahmanvad. Go and ask them what is Manuvad and Brahmanvad, they cannot answer. No one knows actually, because no one reads. And till date, in our constitutions since 1952, more than 500 amendments are done. In last 75 years, 500 amendments are done in our constitution. Manusmriti is so old, till date, so many interpolations have come. No one says that Dr. Ambedkar, who was the constitution committee head, he was wrong in drafting the constitution. No one says. But we need amendments. Similarly, how should we make a person target for Manusmriti when Manusmriti was written long back and interpolations were done by other persons? And we are blaming Manu for that. A person who is not here, who has not written wrong, other person mixed in that book, the mix is causing the confusion, and we are blaming the person who was the original writer of the book. So what is this drama going? Next one. Even if then my ancestors, third generation, fourth generation, fifth generation, they were following caste system, they were following untouchability practice, but I am not following that today, should I be targeted for that? Have you seen a crime is done by father and the punishment is given to his son? No. Then we are a people, we do not follow caste system, then why are we being targeted for that? Which was done 100 years back, 150 years back. So, accept the Vishuddha Manusmriti, reject caste system. This is the take-home message. And we should we should make it popular. Next one. Recently, apart from Hindi, we have this English edition of Manusmriti published. So, you can contact Piyush ji. He will arrange copies of English Manusmriti from Delhi. He is already having his copy. So, that will help you in understanding of this concept in a better way. Next one. This is a Hindi one. I am admin of this page, facebook.com RSMaj. It is having 3 lakh members. You can take the pic and join this on the Facebook. Whatever I am writing daily, it is coming on this page. I publish 6 articles per day. 1 is in English. So that will benefit you. You can read in Hindi, English, and other information is also there. In this way, you will be in touch with me so that we will update you. Next time I will come to Chennai, I will spare more time. And I am thankful to your RSMaj and Piyush ji and Vikas ji and Pradhan ji for giving me time to listen. I am honored to give my presentation. Thank you.